Next on the agenda, we get to see how NetSuite has evolved through time, and we are going to see on some top new features of NetSuite. And I mean, I can only introduce and welcome you, Andrei Postolache, to the stage, Staria's Senior NetSuite Solution Consultant.
Thank you.
The stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Once Tony Robbins said that change is inevitable, but evolution, however, is optional. And today I would like to focus around talking about evolution, how important it is for each one of us to be able to embrace the change in order to be successful, in order to grow beyond. And for that, we obviously, apart from having the right partners next to us, we need also to have the right tools and systems. My name is Andrei, and besides being passionate about fishing, I'm passionate about technology. I'm passionate about technology, first of all, because it's every day there is something new about it. It constantly evolves. And nevertheless, I'm passionate about showing the value of that technology being correctly used and positioned by our customers in order to make them evolve constantly. In order to see how we got actually to present days, we need to look back into history, right? To reflect a little bit. And I would like to have just a quick round of, let's say, to brief you about the history of ERP. I consider this to be important to see how the pace of that evolution and growth really changed. So the history of the ERP systems dates back to 1960s, profoundly into manufacturing industries, where a tractor manufacturing company, together with IBM, developed what is considered to be the first material requirement planning system. It had basic inventory level capabilities and, very, very basic rudimentary supply chain features. By 1975, there were little over 700 companies, actually enterprises, already using MRP. However, those MRP systems were running on mainframe computers, of course, the performance of which is way less than performance of this given laptop. However, it was far from being called affordable, right? So also towards the end of these 70s, companies like J.D. Edwards and Oracle appeared in order to change these things and make business management systems more affordable to businesses. The 80s actually mark a milestone in our ERP discussion, because this is the time when additional processes are being brought into the concept of business management system at that time. And it's actually the time when we have the manufacturing resource planning, another acronym of MRP. That's why they are being separated with MRP1 and MRP2. Actually, MRP2 systems, they added additional complexity in terms of planning and scheduling the manufacturing. However, what is very important here is that they have embedded additional departments that were part of the business to collaborate and contribute to systematically to the operations. And there is not long time left before other industries that, by the way, started to emerge, besides manufacturers, would understand the value of having such a system in their organizations. Now, in 1990s, Gartner, the first time coined the system, the enterprise resource planning system definition. And it clearly described that this is a business system end-to-end that allows for different departments to collaborate, contribute, and basically conduct cross-platform, cross-process operations. In 2020, in the years 2000, sorry, Gartner introduced the term of ERP2. Now, as compared to ERP1, ERP2 system is a system that is part of a framework. First of all, it's a system that will need to be delivered through the internet. And second of all, it will be able to integrate with other dedicated systems like advanced supply chain management systems and CRM systems, marketing automation tools, and so forth. 2 years before year 2000, 1998, a visionary guy called Evan Goldberg, together with having some support from Oracle's Larry Ellison, has founded NetLedger, which was the first cloud business management system. The word cloud at that time didn't actually exist, but it meant that the system would be distributed via the internet. As the name might suggest, the ledger, the core of the system was around accounting. But very shortly after, in the upcoming 3 years, the system has gained complexity. They have introduced inventory management. They have added CRM and like case management, customer support functionality, which kind of led to its natural rebranding into NetSuite, because this time it was a suite of processes that the system was covering. And very soon, in 2007, NetSuite already goes public, IPO. And after that, it starts to really grow increasingly. Mainly in 2008, One World functionality is being brought into NetSuite, which now allows NetSuite to be a great fit for multi-company businesses that are spanning across multiple countries and continents and need a standard centralized platform in order to be efficient. Also, additional acquisitions are being carried on. OpenAir is acquired as a company for professional service automations. And later in 2010 is the year when NetSuite introduced the first cloud manufacturing suite, basically allowing manufacturers to have a complete verticalized solution in the cloud. Very important milestone in NetSuite history is in November 2016, when it got acquired by Oracle for a $9.3 billion transaction. And since then, NetSuite has seen really exponential growth, both in terms of customer base as well as geographically wide. Suite billing is also launched at that year, basically enabling subscription-based businesses to have their functionality within the ERP. In the years 2017 and 2020 is when the product gets really developed both horizontally as well as vertically deep. Quality management system and warehouse management systems, basically being modules of NetSuite, are completely rewritten, and they represent totally kind of different products at this moment in time. This is also the time when intercompany framework is being enhanced, and a lot of features are being brought in. Suite analytics books, workbooks that we will discuss in more details in a second, are being introduced. Basically, NetSuite, I believe some of you know, is performing 2 major releases per year. Those releases are bringing in tens and tens of new features and enhancements to the existing features. This is an important point. If I'm not mistaken, in 2019 second release, just that release itself, it had like 162 new features and functionalities brought into the system in a single release. And that makes quite kind of difficult to cover all of these new features in such a short period of time in front of you. However, I will summarize a few of them. So in 2021, what has happened new to NetSuite? Well, I have grouped kind of a sneak peek, and here we are scratching the surface. Please feel free to get in touch with me, and I will give you way more information in the networking or in the subsequent calls about new features and capabilities of NetSuite. But basically, I have done a sneak peek, and I have grouped them in 3 major categories. The first one being around smart financials and operations, and here we are talking about a payment link being introduced. Basically, emailed invoices now can contain an email and a link to a safe payment interface where customers can pay for that invoice with a variety of methods. Both partial and full payments are supported. Then expense commitments and budget validation is being introduced. So basically you can capture purchasing budgets and validate the expenses and purchase orders against those budgets as at the moment when they are created. Suite approvals now contain an email approval, so you can actually access and review the transaction, reject or approve it right away from your email. Then we have centralization of the purchasing and billing processes across multiple subsidiaries, enabling you to basically squeeze down and centralize the process of that purchasing and basically centralize the payment to the suppliers. Automated cash application captures your bank statement and for all those invoices for which it has matched, it can create automatically and apply the payment transaction. Suite projects is a suite of features that any professional service automation business would need, basically from project management and accounting through resource allocations and proper job costing is being captured within suite projects now. And on top of that, also project-related procurement is being introduced into NetSuite. When it comes to supply chain management, I call it friction inventory management, a few important enhancements. First of all, a new web feature is being introduced, NetSuite Pack Station, allowing you to visually to use a visual interface to automate the partial or full packing within your order fulfillment process. It also allows you to integrate with scales and really capture the weights of the products that you are fulfilling on the fly. New allocation functionalities allow supply planners to properly allocate the inventory that is to be committed based on a variety of scenarios. Now you can clearly promise and project the date when the item will become available based on a complex calculation that will take into account lead times of those items as well as the allocation strategies, whether you want to allocate it based on the gross margin or on the revenue and profitability. Automatic lot number generation, very useful for manufacturers that are tracking lot numbers and want to automate that process, leveraging even custom fields that can be added, and the system will generate dynamically the lot. So to standardize the formatting of that. Certificate of analysis generation is also automated currently in NetSuite, so you can generate a certificate on the fly, and it will also be digitally available later, describing what are the details of the products on the invoice. Also, VMS, warehouse management system enhancements have been carried on, and wave picking has been enhanced. Really a lot of exciting things there are happening there on supply chain as well, and I would like to detail those more for those interested in them offline. In terms of NetSuite platform and the analytics, also a lot of enhancements have happened there. We have a new application performance management dashboard that evaluates the health of REST web services. Conditional formatting becomes available to Suite Analytic workbooks where you can color code and interpret your business data. We will see that today. New calculated measures can be, it's a new functionality also available within pivot tables in Suite Analytics workbooks. Dataset linking, now you can link multiple data sets and analyze them in one single analytic workbook. Basically, you can analyze your financial next to procurement and sales, all in like a comprehensive dashboard-looking workbook. Now, one feature that I would like, because again, there are hundreds and hundreds of features, and I'm afraid if I will be start to just list them here. My presentation will not be an exciting one, and I do pretend to have one. Suite Analytics Workbooks. This is a feature that I consider that requires more attention than it actually has in these days, because it allows. So what's common between all of the businesses that you represent today, regardless of the industry, right? You can be from manufacturing business, from service business. What is common in every business is looking like is to make information, to make informed decisions out of that huge amount of data all of our applications generate on a daily basis. And that's why I consider that reporting is key to understand how you are performing, where are you heading, and take those informed business decisions. Suite Analytics Workbooks has been introduced with the second release in 2018 as a beta feature with kind of a limited functionality. What Suite Analytic Workbook is an analytic layer on top of NetSuite. It is part of the standard subscription fee. It doesn't require a third-party software or an additional interface to interact with the numbers. Basically, it has been launched in late 2018, and in 2019 it already becomes generally available to NetSuite customers. Inventory has been added to basically supply chain related information has been already included into Suite Analytic Workbooks. A lot of numbering enhancements and conditional and formatting is being introduced. In 2020, it also included merchandise hierarchy support, so you can create a hierarchy of the products that you are selling and include it seamlessly into your analytics and basically analyze your sales or purchases or production based on different product categories or the nodes that you are typically using in your BI tools. New date filters and of course additional formatting tools introduced. Suite billing is also included in Suite Analytics in 2020. Now in current year we have also those calculated measures, conditional formatting, and multiple enhancements in terms of formulas design and how we interact in the system. All of that is meant to make the system as user-friendly as possible, as well as maximize the amount of tasks a regular business user can do with the system without requiring any IT support, so without being technical. Now let's see what actually Suite Analytics Workbook is. I will do a quick demo here and actually open my screen. Guys, how can I share my screen? Or shall I? Okay, perfect. So, as I said, on top of the transactional system where all of our departments do their daily routine, right? Approve transactions, create purchases, sales, finance, and year-end or month-end processes. Everything is happening in NetSuite, right? End-to-end. Now, on top of that, what NetSuite managed to do is to create that analytical layer. We all know the reports, right? We all run those reports, sales by items, by customers, but this is more of an operational kind of reporting. But when it comes to analyzing, okay, how did our sales evaluate during the last 2 years, for example? Well, here we need more of an analytical approach. We need a different kind of visualization. We need different kind of data representation. And this is the place where typically third-party software is involved. You need a different type of database behind. You need additional jobs to take that data, process it overnight, then you get it with a delay in another database next day, and then you kind of start to visualize. In NetSuite, you get this layer right on top of the transactional system, which makes you, which enables you to look into the numbers 2 years ago to date, for example. Now, the two key elements of analytic workbooks are the data sets and the actual workbooks. I will not get too technical here. So a data set basically when you create a data set, you tell the system what you want to report. You want to report on your, I don't know, utilization, basically on your time entries that your consultants are submitting to the system, or you want to report on the efficiency of your picking process with in the warehouse, or you want to analyze your purchases or sales. All of that is being built in a visual interface without you having to write any SQLs or knowing the underlying database structure. Basically, you can navigate through the data set. Here we are looking at some sales analytics. Basically, I have my sales transaction, which is naturally linked to my customers, items, departments, segments, and so on. And if I need a customer, let's say, attribute, I will open my customer that is linked to my sales, and I will just drag and drop here a field from my customer record, and I'm ready to analyze my sales by, let's say, sales channel, not necessarily by customer. This is a data set, and also here we are able to filter what types of transactions we want to include in the analysis, what is the time range we are looking for. And once this data set is being created, it allows us to leverage it in our Suite Analytics workbooks. A workbook is a collection of data visualizations. They can be tabular, they can be pivot tables, and they can be charts that allow us basically to interpret the data set is bringing. And here you can see my workbook design screen, where I have the fields that are taken from my data set and the visualizations that I have created to make information out of data. A preview of my data set showing different invoices and the fields that I'm considering to have. And then I can start to build my analysis. I can start with some pivot tables, which I believe all of you are very familiar with. The interface is similar to an Excel one, but we don't need to export any data from our ERP to an Excel and then share it, lose it, or somebody will play with it and maybe alter a formula, and we get two Excels with similarly, with kind of the same entering data but different results. Nobody knows what's the truth. It all is robust in all and all is in one place. Now here, for example, I can interact with the system. I can choose to what level of the detail I want to go. Let's say if I want to track my numbers in like weekly or monthly basis and play with the measures and the mounts. What's important is these visualizations can be then bundled together and deployed as a workbook. Typically in bigger organizations, you have a owner of the data, someone who is in charge of saying, okay, this is the correct data set that we are going to report on, whether it's in NetSuite or it's in Excel or in some other BI tools you are already using. But that role will typically ensure the consistency of the data, ensure that we are all looking at the same, not data, but at the same criteria when we say we are analyzing sales, right, for a certain product category. Then what is also important is the visualization of information, but here, since we are also dealing with financials and it's integrated within the system, if I want to, let's say, analyze my monetary value, I can very easily convert to different base currencies. I can choose to, let's say, represent number in another currency that I have available within my account, just like move it into euro, or even I can anchor it to a certain fixed date, and then the system will automatically take that exchange rate as of that date and will convert all the foreign currency transactions into that currency and present me with those numbers. So basically, the workbook is a collection of visualizations on the data set being let's say a snapshot of the data from our transactional system. What we can do with this collection? Well, a data owner can easily share it within the organization, choose to which roles they want to deploy this to make it available, and then the users can really make narrative reporting out of it. However, you can also include elements of a workbook into your home dashboard, along with your existing reminders, tracking for your actual business, KPIs and so on. You can add these analytic portlets and choose different bits and pieces from different analytic workbooks to represent business critical information for your specific role at this point in time. And here I can look at my sales over time performance. I can analyze my financials, and you can see I have some top 5 GL expense accounts by balance, pivot tables. They all can be embedded nicely into our home dashboard. As I said, we have just scratched the surface today, and today you have seen a brief history of ERP, and that's, let's say, a snapshot over NetSuite history, how it came to be what it is today. We have had a sneak peek over 2021 releases, like new features, and we have had a glimpse view over what Suite Analytic Workbooks has to offer. As I said, please feel free to get in touch with me in the networking session, or let's schedule a dedicated call with you later on. For now, thanks a lot for your attention. Thank you.